Hey, what's going on, people? I'd like to give a shout out to my new subscribers, old and new, everybody. Hope you guys are having a good week. Before I start, I would like to give credit to a YouTuber called Superboy Triple Two. It's actually 222. He called it, and what he did was he said that Hollywood or the powers that be have a psychological profile on black folks and the black folks they allow into Hollywood and the entertainment industry. And he is actually right. I have to give credit where credit is due. Now this is Issa. That's Issa. Now she's responsible for writing and producing that TV show um, Insecure. BGS and Ram Wills normally do their review of that TV show. And apparently, she's in some trouble right now for a book that she wrote a few years ago. We'll take a look at that book. But before we do, I'd like to tell you guys that I was right. I keep telling you guys in my videos that while white supremacy does exist, and not all white people are white supremacists, while you have Hispanic people who don't like black people, you have Asian people who don't like black people, hell, you have black people who don't like black people, you know. But I keep telling you guys that you have to keep your eyes on that black woman. And it's not all black females, but it's most of them. And they don't have to be swirlers either. I keep telling you, in a race war, they will betray you. Nature never lies. Observe. Now, let's read a page from her book, shall we? This is page 138. It says here that educated black women are too high maintenance, high strung and independent. They don't need men. There is a widening gap between the education of black women and men, which doesn't leave very many suitable suitors. Unfortunately, the higher one's degree as a black woman, the lower your chances are of getting married. Add to the compile add to the compile the stereotypes of being loud, complicated, and difficult. Black women, your reputation sucks. Now let's pause for a moment there. The widening gap between the education of black women and men, which doesn't leave very many suitable suitors. Now that's not men's fault. Women are very superstitious. We have females out here who are looking for a Superman. They're looking for a Clark Kent. They're looking for a Tony Stark. I don't know. I don't know what you have women in church saying that Jesus is their husband or Jesus is their boyfriend. What I'm trying to say here is that it's these black women who widen the gap of getting suitable suitors. It's not men, because these women believe that once they get that degree, they're entitled to being with certain types of men. Having a degree as a guy doesn't determine if you're going to be a good father, a good conversationalist, a funny guy, a guy who will love and care for his female. That's not what you went to school to study for. You went to school to get a degree in your field of study. But these females, once they get that degree, they believe that degree is a visa for them to date interracially. That's one. I'm going to do a video on that. And two, They think that it's a visa for them to get the top 20% of the men out there, which every female is chasing. So I'm hoping she's not well, she is indirectly blaming this on men. You see, women like to expand their standards or heighten their standards, but men should not. They want to reach for the so called stars. And in them reaching for the stars, they widen that gap. Because once they get that degree, they now look down on you. Obsidian talks about it with the everyday brothers, the blue collar brothers. They look down on the blue collar brothers. I see it every day in New York City. They look down on these guys who work on the construction site, the guys who build those buildings so they can go sit their fat asses there with their degrees and type on computers. The guys who are responsible for creating a place for them to walk into and sit down and go on their computers filing papers and shit. Anyway, let's continue. Asian men are also overburdened with stereotypes that don't really work in their favor. Why wouldn't a woman want to marry and reproduce with men who are classified as intelligent hard workers? Maybe because Asian men are frequently emasculated in the media or presented as sexless props for comedic relief. Now, hold on right there. Um, there are no other men on the planet who have been and are being emasculated on media like black men. Black men are being represented or portrayed as being gay, weak, cannot control their house, controlled by their children, broke, and all of this is not true. So miss me with that Asian men are being portrayed as Asian men are being emasculated through media. That's nonsense. Okay, let's just cut that out. Let's continue here. Oh, if only they could absorb the burden of the black male stereotypes. Oh, genitalia, exaggerations included. Oh, Lord, right there. Oh, Lord, let me finish this first. Maybe their demand would increase. Stop right there. She went there. I keep telling you guys in my videos, the females' conversations are limited. This is why female comics are not successful. The females' conversation is limited to two things, or narrowed down to two things: sex and gossiping. Sex and gossiping. Listen to your local females around you. Listen to what they talk about. 95% of the times, they're either talking about a guy they want to have sex with, or a guy they had sex with, the size of his penis, or they're talking about gossiping. They're talking about a female they don't like, a female they want to fight, and most of the times they're gossiping over a female. It's because that female and themselves like the same guy. Okay? And here you see it right here. She went there talking about the black man's dick. Essentially, she's actually dissing black men right there. She's actually saying that it's a myth that black men have big dicks. So she right here, she's emasculating black men. You know, whenever they disagree with you, their go-to diss is, well, you got a little dick. You got a little dick. This is a true black female right here. But then right up here, she's talking about black women are being stereotyped and their reputation sucks. But she's displaying it right here. She's displaying it right. She's giving herself away right here. So whose fault is it? She's showing herself right here. Let's continue. Maybe that would make all the difference. Instead, the plight of Asian men is nearly the same as that of black women, except for the fact that their women tend to marry white or other far more often. In fact, Asian Americans have the highest rate of intermarriage. Asian men, your reputation sucks too. Okay, she's kinda right here. I agree with her because, like, in America, you see more Asian females marry white men. They don't marry black men. They don't even marry Hispanic men. Asian women tend to go for white men. Okay, and they're in their right to do so. I don't have an issue with that. That I don't care. That's just, but it's my observation. So she kind of has a point there. Anyway, this is why I propose that black women and Asian men join forces in love, marriage, and procreation. Educated black women, what better intellectual match for you than an Asian man? And I'm not talking about Filipinos. They're like the blacks of Asians. Whoa, whoa, hold on. I'm talking Chinese, Vietnamese, Japanese, etc. Hold on. She just compared the Filipinos, the black people. So, what is she saying about black people? You see where her mind is at? Look at this again. And I'm not talking about Filipinos. They're like the blacks of Asians. She looks down on black people. Listen, I keep telling you, Tommy Sotomayor keeps telling you, a lot of these guys on YouTube keep telling you, Kid Organic, he says it. Listen, black women don't like themselves. Go to Jamaica, you will see black women bleaching. You'll see black men bleaching too. We see them do it here in America. In Africa, you see them bleaching their skin. They do not like themselves. Black women hate themselves. That's why they wear that weave. You see? She just threw black people under the bus. Just like that. Just like that. And in particular here, she's talking black men. When she said Filipinos are like blacks, she's talking about black men. Let me continue here. According to 2010 census, Koreans are more inclined to marry black than any other Asian group. So black women after college, maybe it's a good idea to settle in Los Angeles or anywhere else where Koreatown is a hotspot. Asian men, your woman. Okay, this continues onto another page. I'm not reading that. Yeah. Yes. I read it, you heard it, and you saw it for yourself. These are the females, like Shonda Rhimes, Issa Rae, who are responsible for putting images out there on television, feeding the minds of our black women to hate black men. Scandal, Insecure, How to Get Away with Murder, and all these shows. Yeah, I remember I was on the train. This was like about 3 years ago in New York City, and this girl, she was no more than 15. She was sitting there with her Mexican boyfriend, and they were talking. She was talking badly about this guy on the train. You know, she doesn't know the guy. I forget what happened on the train. I forget. But she was making comments to her Hispanic boyfriend. I was standing right next to them, and she was talking about how much that black man probably has like 15 baby mamas and this and that. And she was just stereotyping this black guy. And she's black herself. And I tapped her on her shoulder and I said to her, it's not wise to do that. And I said to her, do you know that this Mexican guy that you're dating right now, because they're in high school. They were in high school at the time. I said to her, do you know that this guy will not trash his people publicly. But you're here trashing black men, trashing the black community in front of this guy. How do you know that that guy has 15 baby mamas? She didn't respond. And that little 15-year-old girl's sentiments is coming from the Issa Rays, the Shonda Rhimes, and all of this nonsense. Images mean everything, okay? Images are more important than words. And these are the people who are responsible for teaching your little daughters, your little nieces, all the erroneous things. Stereotyping black men, these are the people who are responsible for the demise and the separation of black people. I kept telling you guys about these black women. It's not all of them, but it's most of them. I'll see you guys later.